Peace be upon you, ladies and gentlemen, dear guests. I'm very honored to welcome all of you in this scientific session within the conference of the researchers and experts of Yemen under the title of the power and food and environment, and we focus on sustainable development because all of these things form a triangle of the stability and prosperity of countries. It is a very important topic and it tackles the national security. In this session, we have 6 scientific or academic papers. We'll be talking about the environment of Yemen by Hisham Naji. The solar power in Yemen would be is prepared by Dr. Abdul Qadi, and the rare minerals by Najwan Al-Junaid, and also food security policies as an approach to sustainable development by Dr. Mu'in Al-Huwaish, and home hydroponics and its role in achieving food security by Dr. Ahmed Fadi, and the last paper would be by Dr. Abdullah Nasher on the honey of Yemen. We see that this session and these topics are about a circle. It is a circle that revolves or that connects all different other sessions. The economy is related to it, health is related to it, also infrastructure. The same thing, the national identity, the political stability also. Economy. So if we have a bigger circle of power and food, then all of the other axes or topics would be affected. So the studies of protecting the wildlife is the basis of our is one of the bases of our national identity, and we know that the eagle is the logo of our national identity. Also, the animal, the animal of the ibex. It's also part of our national identity, but it's got extended. So also a lot of the tree of Dam al-Gharib, or of the blood of a stranger, when it got affected and extended, all of us felt sad because all of these environmental icons represent part of our national identity. As for the $100 billion that Dr. talked about in 2010, the Minister of Water and Environment, Abdullah Fadl Aryani, said the economic losses of the pollution of air in each year is $100 million, and that is the same amount that so we are losing $100 million because of the air pollution. So with this big money, you can go to a city and make it a sustainable city that produces renewable energy for 24 hours production. So in the environmental panorama and reality, we have a lot of details, but now let us start with Dr. Hisham Al-Naji to talk to us more about it. Dr. Hisham Al-Naji, he is a researcher of environmental and coastal studies. He is the head of the Department of Environmental Science at Sana'a University, and he is part of the University of Petrol and Natural Minerals. Please, the mic is yours. Peace be upon our messenger, peace be upon you. Dr. Abdelghani Jadman, he communicated with me and he wanted me to give you a lecture about the environmental situation in Yemen, especially during the war. So I thought it is a very easy topic, but then I was surprised that I only have 10 to 15 minutes to present my presentation, so it is difficult to summarize everything, but I will try to highlight only on the main problems that some of the institutions are suffering from, but that will not mean that these are the only problems that we are facing in Yemen, or the only institutions that are facing problems in Yemen, because we have a lot of other institutions facing many problems, but because of the time, I will summarize. Of course, there will be a gap, there will be some missing information, but I need to do that because of the little time I have. As for the Yemen, in Yemen we have a lot of the geographical regions. We have 5 main regions. We have the islands, deserts, hills, mountains, and the Yemeni coast is 2,252 kilometers, and uh, and and now, after I traveled few years, I know that the coast became longer in the book, so I don't know if it grew or what happened. But I mean that the old study is not accurate, so the official size of our coast is 2,252, but some of the official other documents say it's 105, 1,500 kilometers, so we don't know the exact length of our coast, which is a problem because we depend on our numbers on foreign documents. And it has 2 seas, the Red Sea and the Arabian Sea. And our climate is mostly hot climate with high humidity, and also we have another areas where they are semi-arid with varying temperatures and moderate humidity. And because we have a lot of different geographical locations, we have a lot of climate change, and we have a lot of variety of plants and animals, and we have 2,871 plant species and 25 species of animals. As for the marine species, we have 3,444 animals in the sea. As for the war in the sea, it has been there for 18 years and affected the infrastructure that we have, whether it's sanitation, the management of trash, and others. So we wanted to show you the environmental situation in Yemen during the war and to highlight the challenges that we are suffering from and the exaggerating and increasing environmental problems. In this research, we depended on the descriptive methodology through collecting, observing the field, and through talking with key informants. As for the discussion and results, the studies for us is limited, so we try to collect data, and the environmental deterioration is very huge. The activities, the research activities, and the governmental operations collapse because of the weak institutions. Also, we have a collapse in the infrastructure. It was the biggest collapse that happened in the history of Yemen. A third of the infrastructure was destroyed, the schools, the networks of water and electricity, etc. Let me give you an example of the electricity. In the electricity sector, in general, everyone started to use the special generators, private generators. These generators are not good for the environment, and they started also to use a collective generator, which is a generator that generates electricity for the whole neighborhood. We have 480 electricity generator, according to the reports we got. So we have 480 generators in Sana'a alone, or in the areas under Sana'a control alone. So according to the World Bank report 2020, the electricity provided by the state is only 20%, and that's why we need the generators. The generators have big, strong, and a lot of emissions of CEO in the air, and it will lead to a lot of breathing problems and pollution for the citizens. And the system of managing the management of trash. They started to support this sector in order to become better, but back then we had a collapse in services because of not paying the salaries for the workers in that sector, and they stopped collecting the waste and the garbage, and people think that cholera, because yesterday we talked about cholera and how it came back to Yemen. So the cholera went back to Yemen, was or happened at the same time when the workers in the cleaning sector made their strike, and when the rain happened at the same time. So this is an image from Al-Luhayya, and these are the very sensitive environment where we need to inhabit a lot of creatures. This image show you that in the Al-Huzwa area in Yemen, where we have a natural reserve, preserve. So this is it turned into a landfill, and it became in was placed in Al Haswa natural preserve area, and that is illegal to turn it into a landfill. So here, these are some of the garbage in the countryside where they collect all of the garbage and burn it without any good management for the waste. Also, we have a problem that one of the MA students highlighted, that he works on the medical waste. As you see, we got some trucks to move medical waste, and medical waste were not moved or transferred to landfill with these trucks. They were not used, and they kept using the traditional open trucks for the medical waste, and they throw it at the same place with the normal waste. And we have this problem of having the people who rummage through garbage, and they can open the bags of the medical waste that might include contagious viruses and diseases, and they might be infected. Sorry. So this is a problem, that we don't have any rules of safety when we are dealing with the garbage. In Yemen, 4 cases of HIV was registered and documented amongst the workers of cleaners, and so the insulator or the burner of that it was we had an insulator or a burner for the medical waste, but it was destroyed because they thought it was a rocket because it has a shape of a rocket, and it was not used also. Also, one of the problems is the institutional weakness in regard to the infrastructure. So we don't have any stations for water desalination because did not get maintained. We don't have a budget for maintenance or for operating these or for operating these facilities. That's why now agricultural land is being irrigated with the sewage water without these water getting treated in the water treatment plants, and people all of this is causing us environmental problems. Also, we have a lack of staff in the institutions because and the employees started to leave and to travel abroad or to other institutions because salaries are not being paid. They don't have a budget for paying salaries, and even if they are getting the salary is not enough for a dignified life. That's why this is how the institutions look like now. This is in Aden, the general institution for water and environment. It was established by Japanese people who helped us in establishing it. When I visited it for the first time, it was full of employees. It was great establishment, but now it's just like it's empty. No one is there, and all of these equipment, no one is using them. These should be pools to raise certain types of fish and to do research on them, but now no one is working there, and it is almost empty. This is one of the institutions. All of them in the south and in the north are suffering from the same problem. And now we have a weakness. Sorry, we have staff members who already received training, but they don't want to work anymore. But now the new staff members, they are not trained enough. They don't. They want to work, but they had no training. Neither the government provide them with training nor the organizations.
Also, we are unable to implement laws. Also, there is a disagreement among institutions. We have also here pollution inside Al-Hushwa reservation place, and this the water that you can see here, this is water that's not hasn't been treated. So without any treatments, again, you can see here the birds and the waste here. And also this picture from Buregan, the same situation applies here. This is wastewater, and this is fishery planet. The plastic waste, as you can see here, we have a problem about managing solid waste. We have also pollution of seas because of sinking of or deliberate incidents by rockets, or because these ships are very old and there is no maintenance happening whatsoever, and they sink by themselves. Now, unfortunately, after the ship sank, what happens after that? No one knows how much oil was leaked there. What is the pollution resulted from there? No one can predict actually any numbers, any data, any studies. Now, controlling the coastal areas, mm, they noticed that they put some fish to make a control, but these fish, these ships don't work anymore. They lack minimum maintenance procedures, and they cannot work anymore. Some funding and no operational budgets, and also the high price of gas that causes people to go to illegal using of sources for energy. Mm. Also, a lot of you talked about that people should go to fishing. Let's just keep a little bit of this because we ran out of oil. So this is what we should take into consideration. I am moving now to recommendations. Can you see these turtles are rare, and they get caught in these areas. Of course, we are challenged by climate change, especially our shores, and we are fragile towards climate change, and this area also is under the risk of being flooded by water. Lack of information and cognitive gap. Of course, the lack and rarity of local activities in research. If you want to do a study or hold a GPS in your hand, you might be arrested and accused of being a spy for another party. So these are our recommendations here. Of course, it's just presenting some solutions for the problems I shared with you. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you so much for your presentation. And the subject of environment should be studied in more than one paper, and this is what made you feel pressure. And in order to solve this problem, we need to go to clear source of energy, clean energy that reduces emissions, and it is economical to use. And this is why we have Dr. Ali Hikmat, who Ali Hikmat, he works as in renewable energy consultant and researcher for more than 10 years now. He manages a private company in this field since 5 years, and he is a member of the Japanese physicians. And yes, there are a lot to speak about it, but because of limitations of time, I will stop here. Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. I will begin my word by some poetry from Abu Ala al-Ma'arri. Says there is no leader but mind and thought, and if you lose your mind, mercy should be recited and upon you. I hope this wasn't heavy for you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I'd like first to thank the foundation for opening this precious, valuable chance for us. And after each session, we can touch the real problems of human. We understand that escaping from them is not the solution, but it keeps us in this vicious circle. Why solar energy is an important and sensitive file when we talk about solar system in Yemen? We discussed about health, about education, and lacking energy, electrical energy is a real obstacle in all other fields. As Dr. Abdel Ghani mentioned, the most important source of electric energy, first, raw oil, whether it's any of its products since 2004 till 2008. It was the only source of energy. After that, محطة Marib station, gas station, started also participating, and its participation was 30%. But in 2013, of course, the numbers vary. And we will try a little bit to do something with these numbers. The highest, it went down until 2020 to third. To clarify more, I wanted to compare with other countries and heard names of countries I have never heard except in football or in beauty queens, like using electrical energy in comparison with other countries. We are just now in the same row with those who do not produce any energy that serves their needs. So also the per capita, which is a standard, it reached the highest level to 287 kilowatt per hour, and this value was attained in 2013. It went down to 78 kilowatt per capita. In Syria also, they went through war. Per capita, they had 1,237 kilowatt per capita. It means that the Yemenis get less than the person in Yemen. The individual gets less than 10% of what an individual in Syria gets of electricity. In cities, we use laptops, our sons and daughters use laptops, but in the suburb area, it's a bigger problem. So solar energy came as a choice. In 2015, it started. 2023, it was equal to Marib gas station parts or percent, and they had to reduce the hours of operating this station because of the problems there between Marib and Sana, and this is a big problem. A station that was supposed to give 300 megawatt an hour reduced its power, and its ability to production was reduced to 20%. The importance of this research, Yemen still receive low quality products, and also enhancing economic feasibility and raising productivity and performance factors should be studied and focused on raising the level of social benefit from solar energy, like focusing on the benefit that student might get. Also improving the efficiency of technical and engineering staff. We will also discuss successful experiences through successful national policies. We need to teach such experiences and plan our long-term strategies. The major targets of our research are three. First of all, we evaluated the use of solar system, also its impact on the major and main services, and also suggest some policies regarding the use of solar system. The result and recommendations of our research. first evaluation of the status quo in Yemen till between 2010 to 2014, recurring cuts and fuel shortages, and this also led to pollution between 2015 2018. There was destruction for electrical network. Al-Makha power station was destructed, and lack of electricity resulted in pushing people to solar systems, and 2 million households used solar system with a cost of $1 billion. From 2019 to 2020, they started water pumping systems, river sectors, and people lost hope from the network of electricity in Sana'a and Aden. And, but in Sana'a, it went down to 40% only. Our steps to review all the research. Also, what we added is some statistics about compound abilities and the values of import, and also solar systems, electrical system, and common problems. We also compared with studies previous to this, and what are the additions we added, what are the suggestions we have. We will start with the revision of old studies. Of course, we went back to the first study. It happened in 1985. It was conducted in Yemen with Dr. Qasim al-Mutawakkil, and he's one of the members of the American Association for International Development. And one of the results, we were able to evaluate the need for solar systems, and there was a plan of 5 years with fund up to $7 million associated with training. Then Dr. Ahmed Al-Asbahi, after 13 years, he made a study and an evaluation for the projects by the UN, and it's still like weakness. Pre-war from 2011 to 2014, the Ministry of Electricity actually suggested pilot projects, and the Japanese Institution for Cooperation did some studies, for example, for Jamhuriya Hospital in Aden, and it also provided some costs for maintenance, and also suggested some pilot projects in some service institutions before, where I was one of the participants in this study. We also did a study, and we focused on continuous national strategies accompanied by training. Also, solar revolution, we created the Center for Renewable Energy, and there was a fund of $1 billion for home sector, but the systems still suffer from unregulated capacities and low quality. Then we have strategic transformation. Friedrich Alberts did a study. We still suffered from not being able to reach the sustainable development of solar system. And there is a study from the Office of Development in the UN. As you can notice the data here in the first diagram, the activity of using solar system increased within the last 3 years. The installed capacity reached more than 3,000 mega, which is very good. Before that, all stations just reached 1,000. You can notice here that solar system went higher than that. It went to 3,000. We also took the value of import. Of course, this is depending on the bills, but in markets you might be able to multiply by 15 because these bills are given to the customs. So according to these bills, $1.23 billion the import value, and you can see during the last 3 years, although it went down in 2024, but the prices of the solar systems went down, and that's why the use of them increased. So the factors to encourage people to use solar system, it didn't come from the government nor from any other thing. The lower price of them increased their use, and we found that 30 to 40% of the solar system used in houses between 2013 to 2025 stopped were eliminated from use because of lack quality, but in the service sector represented in hospitals, um, for example, there was no organization, coordination was very weak. So when they provide a hospital with some new systems, the old ones are eliminated totally without trying to reuse it somewhere else. But in Sana'a, there is no organization. Also, the old systems are eliminated or thrown, and starting from zero, they should be accepted as old things and integrated with a new one. In the economic and trade sector, a lot of private sector projects. The problem there was about the quality of the energy that is directed from them, derived from them, pool sizing and design, technical deficiencies in hybrid systems, also power qualities problems, costs, and weak financing and loan programs. Then we have to ask ourselves how to integrate the solar system well. What about this steam from oil products like diesel, and also at the same time 60 mega from solar system? It will push the solar system to shut down because sometimes there are weather changes when it's cloudy. For example, محطة المخاد used to produce 22. Why is it eliminated altogether? Why hasn't it been maintained? Of course, all 5 of them came from Yemen, so please let's appreciate the efforts they did and give them some extra time, except for Mrs. Najwan or Ms. Najwan. We agreed in our results with all the studies, and also we found or produced more accurate data, and also the Sana government direct prices in a better way than the legitimate government. So that's the biggest problem. Yes, 3 million daily expenditure, but who's going to pay for that? This is very important. I still have 3 slides to go. recommendations and conclusions. I just want to give two examples. This is the Hospital Mohammed Durra in Khawlan. As you can notice, the solar system, two solar systems are here on the roofs. 2015 system was there in May. I was there to volunteer and maintain, provide maintenance. So the second one was, and the third one was implanted from the government there. The first one eliminated and marginalized. The second one is still active. The third one is activated in the 20%, and it's hybrid with diesel. These are this is the solar system. This is the oldest system in Yemen. It worked for 38 years, and it is all eliminated, marginalized in 1994. We reactivated in 2022, and then it was marginalized again. Now it is used in research to study the effect or time on solar systems, and it won as the best research in Japan in 2021. Yes, you are an expert in solar systems, and you might go ahead speaking about the subject for hours. We know in 2013 Mahathir Mohamad visited Abha and Asir area, and he said, I moved with my car. I saw mountains with no trees. These mountains are capable of creating a huge development, and the newspaper there published his words, and the International Committee on Development said that Yemen is capable of having resources for comprehensive development. We have chances on minerals if we focus on cement. We have also the kinds of rocks also. When the Mohammed Said said once, we have demands from the African Horn, but we couldn't cover the local markets and the needs of local markets. Investing in this sector, 1 to 4 in the direct way, 1 or for in the indirect one. How can we be active in this sector? We need abilities, skills, and sector. Now we have Ms. Najwan Al Junaid, who is going to talk to us about this subject. He is now the member of parliament in the state of Alberta in Canada. She is a professor in the environment, climate change, oil, and sustainable energy. She came to us from Canada. The floor is yours.
I'm very honored to be with you today. I really thank you for this great and magnificent work. Thank you so much. Please ask the people who are working in the back. In the back. Let us talk about the minerals, critical minerals. And before we talk about the minerals in Yemen, I'd like to talk about our current context, the context of the current economy. We call it the fourth industrial revolution around the world. The first revolution was when they discovered the steam and the coal. In the 17th century, in the 18th century, we have electricity and gas entering houses. The third revolution, when we have the technological revolution, the computer, etc., and the nuclear power in the middle of the 19th century. And now we are in the fourth revolution, which is from yesterday we listened about how AI information, renewable, and the sustainable energy and electricity. All of these. And the graph here with us show us where is the investment, so where money were investment in the last 10 years. Here we say that before the $780 billion were invested in renewable energies. Of course, we're still using oil and in airplanes, etc. So we have investment in oil, also grids and storages. Then the money in regard to the electricity, we have a lot for solar energy, and then the air and electricity grid. So this shows us the investment in the last 10 years. So with us, we have two things happening at the same time. First, we need power or energy to continue our life. We are using cars, flying planes. Here in the hotel, we have power. At the same time, we need to decrease the emissions and the pollution because that is that happens because of the energy production. At the same time, we need to build the energy economy of the future, which is the fourth industrial revolution we talked about. The countries are racing in these things. As for the critical minerals, they are very important for the future economy. And here we see what are these critical minerals. These are almost all of them. We have the cobalt, we have the lithium, titanium, zinc. All of these are important things used in electricity, in our houses, in the wires of the electricity. Also, this stainless steel is all in every kitchen, magnesium. The electric cars with lithium, nickel, and cobalt. So we have many usage for these minerals, and the electricity grid changed very quickly. In Canada, they get rid completely of coal. They use only gas and solar and air energy, and also water energy and bio energy. So they are not using any coal anymore. But coal was still used in China, India, and other places. So the world is changing. So we have emissions to become less and less. And this is a race. Who is the winning? China is in the first rank. And this is causing a geopolitical crisis when Trump talking about China, and he wants Canada to become the 51st state of USA. He wants to buy the critical minerals in Greenland, in Canada, and China decided that there is their strategy, and now they are leading in this domain. China controls 80% of the supply chain of bodies for minerals, and China leads the world in electric vehicle production, and China produces 80% of the world's supply of solar panels. This is our context. So where is Yemen from this context? Till today, the information we have is from one study that happened in 2009 from the World Bank, who visited Yemen's Ministry of Oil and Minerals, conducted an evaluation and a geologic mapping for the minerals in Yemen. And the study says that there is minerals like lead, zinc, copper, nickel, silver and lithium in Yemen. So I heard that there's also lithium in Yemen. So we need a geological mapping or scanning to know the amounts of these minerals. So we might have minerals, but does it worth mining or not? This is a map from 2005 from the ministry. Explains all type of minerals. You can see lead, gold. These are not critical minerals. They are important, but they are not critical minerals to put it in solar panels or in the electrical cars. Uh, here I'm talking about if we don't have critical mining, how can we, minerals, how can we do mining? So let us see the problem. First, we need exploration and geological scanning to know what do we have, and we should also understand whether it's worthy to be discovered. Then we will look for investment, do agreement, and then we will start with the engineering, and then we will have production, and finally we should be thinking of how we can close the mines, because the mining have a lot of effects, and so maybe after 40 to 30 years, what will happen with that mine? And then if you looked at this pyramid, you will see how we have main things if we want to look to it from the private sector. So why don't each mine will, for example, in Canada, bring 10 to 15 billions is required for you to open a mine. So we need security to attract such investment, and we need a clear parliamentary legislative framework for such work. Also, we need an infrastructure and a power for the mines, and we need an organization, an institution from the state to place order and to put and to rule this operation. We need to learn from other countries, for example, from Africa. Africa has a lot of minerals, and they only collect 40% of the wealth, because they mine a lot, but they send the raw materials to China. So we need we need to work according to the method of value chain development, which would mean that to have a national integration and to create job opportunities for the Yemenis by processing and refining the minerals within Yemen. So what is the value chain? Please think that this is the mining process. These phases happen outside of Africa. They send it to China for refining, for smelting. But if we did all of these phases in Yemen, we will create more job opportunities for the Yemeni people. Here I will go in a macro topics, which is environmental and social challenges of mining. These are very huge projects, and they take big spaces. This is in Canada. I visited these mines in Canada, and they have a lot of environmental effects. It will change the shape of the place completely. These things we call tailings, which is a chemo gathering of water, or we call it chemo swamps, and they will stay there for 50 years sometimes, and it is very important to take care of them. This is in Tasmania near Australia, and this is in Canada, and this is in Utah. So we need to understand all of these effects. As for the macro context, we have this change, a big change in the prices of critical minerals, and this affects the investments. For example, the prices of lithium was very high and then it decreased suddenly, and that because of the supply and demand in regard to the critical minerals, because sometimes we had a lot of an offering or supply for the electrical cars without a lot of demand. I hope this pricing will change also in the future. Finally, let us go to the conclusion. So in conclusion, we have a lot of opportunity for mining in Yemen, but the opportunities are not clear. This is a big question for us. We need to have a scanning or a mapping for mines in Yemen and for the and for the existence of critical minerals in Yemen, and we should adopt the methodology of a value chain thinking. We should think of the human power we need and the training that human power needs in order to have Yemenis working in this sector. And finally, we need to attract investment from the outside. Here we are talking about billions, and for that we need stability, we need policy framework and robust legislations, regulations, and we need experienced and skilled workforce and industrial and transportation infrastructure. And finally, we need Yemen to have a bold vision for an industrial strategy. What do we need in the future? What is the work that we need from the context I talked about? And thank you so much. Thank you for your great presentation. Actually, the mining and the issue of zinc in particular, we have the mountain of Salab. We have WikiLeaks documents talking about this, and they told that the Yemeni government take $85 billion from taxation on them. So how much they are getting from the investment itself. So there is also a foreign study and there was a report on it in 2009 talking about the agriculture. If we only implanted wheat in Al Jawf area, will bring us billions of dollars. I asked a person who was selling fruit, so I asked him, how much are you selling this pomegranate? He told me that the pomegranate he's selling was not from Yemen, but that the Yemeni products are more qualified and more expensive. So we need to talk about agriculture. And now we have a lecture on the food security by Dr. Ma'in Al-Huwaish on Yemen policies in regard to food security as an entry for a sustainable development in a conflict environment. He is a professor. He is a professor of economics and the head of Department of Economics in Taz University in Yemen. In the name of Allah, let us start in a traditional way by saying that I'm a graduate of Turkey in Hoshak University 2022, but I decided to go back to Yemen. When I went back to Yemen, I was frustrated. Many people told me, why you are going back to Yemen, and Yemen is not appropriate now, and you are killing yourself. You should stay in Turkey or in any other country. But I decided to go to Yemen. I worked for 3 years And the statement started to roll in my mind that we are not in a good environment for innovation or for production, and many problems, and that I will face a bad livelihood. The conditions are deteriorating, and people started to get more and more frustrated. Before 4 months, I opened WhatsApp and I received a message from Dr. Marwan Al-Ghafouri. He was telling me about this conference and explaining for me the idea of the conference. And here I started to have some hope that we are not alone in Yemen, and that in Yemen we are not alone, and we have some people who are following us, and people started to have hope again. And also they explained about the conference and about funding, and they started to look for a funding from Tawakkol Karman Foundation, and they adopted the funding of this conference. And then they started with the procedures of us participating in the conference, and that made us regain hope again. After we finished all the travel procedures with the high organization, finally, I wanted actually to thank Dr. Marwan and Ms. Tawakkol Karman and Ms. Miskul Junaid and Ms. Hayat Al-Dhabhani, who worked in silence. She has a lot of effort in making us leave Yemen and arrive to Turkey safely. The issue of the food security policies as an approach to sustainable development in conflict environment. And now, after 37 paper, am I lucky to be at this time or not? I don't know. Maybe I would be. Maybe I think my paper is now might include some of the information that was mentioned before. So it will summarize what other researchers already mentioned. So now let us focus on sustainable development in Yemen in a conflict environment. The sustainable development is very many colleagues talked about. It has the environmental, economic, and social levels, and also food security has has many levels: the availability level, the reachability level, and how we can benefit from it, and the sustainability also of it. So the research focused on those elements. Do we have food security or not? That was not my question. My question was about the policies of food security. Were they successful policies or not? And I focused on the word conflict instead of war, because all of our life is conflicts. Before unification, after unification, until now we are still living in conflict. Did the policy of food security succeed in achieving or in making food security as an entry for sustainable development? So here in the introduction, you will see that food security is the basis of any process of stability. 55% of the people of Yemen don't have food security. And in the second phase, this and third phase, this percentage will increase. Yemen ranks as 163 out of 1,600 countries included in the Sustainable Development Goal Index 2023, and we are interested in the educational, health, and environmental sectors. The United Nations says that there is no data for 2023, but the index is more than the years before, which is a very critical situation. So this is the introduction. and how we can make food security as an entry for development. As for the policies used, did they take into consideration the dimensions of food security and sustainable development during conflict? So this is the study problem, or the main question: how did food security policies contribute to promoting or condemning the sustainable development goals in Yemen during the past period? We suggested national policies to make food security priority for stability and to give recommendations to the donors and INGOs on the interventions in Yemen or in similar conflict environments. The food security, these are the dimensions we talked about, which is availability, is to have an enough amount of food, reachability, that people can reach it, and the proper is it available for everyone, and sustainability is to keep the previous three dimensions, which is the availability, accessibility, and proper utilization for food. These are the three dimensions that I talked about in the conference in the 1992. In year 2015, they defined 15 goals of sustainable development. The first one is to eliminate poverty. The second one is a zero hunger. So we don't want to have any hungry person around the world. The third goal was health, well-being. Fourth goal, good education, up to reaching the partnership, which is the 17th goal. What is the methodology of the study? Mixed case study, quantitative and qualitative, and we depended on the reports of the Arab Organization for Agricultural Development, the international the annual report. We also got some reports from international organizations like WFP, UNDP, and IPC. As for the quantitative report, in the qualitative report, we analyzed 6 reports depending on the keywords: sustainable development, policies, food security, and we focused on the conflict years between 2015 and 2025. The most important results that we found after the quantitative analysis, we noticed that the self-sufficiency percentage was between 60 to 62%, and the percentage of during 2019 was 55%, but then it raised up to 60 to 62%. And now, as for the national production, whether it's a plant or animal production, we can look at this percentage here. In 2022, we have 60.1%, whilst we have almost 40%. This is what we have in case of imports. As for the sub-indicators, this percentage can increase, and this is a very important indicator that we depend on imports to fulfill our needs, although we are classified as an agricultural country, as per many reports and as my colleagues explained before. So we depend on agriculture for development in Yemen. Reachability can be measured by the how each individual share of GDP, which is $37, and we have the general rate of prices or general level of prices. Members can have an income, but the high prices will not make the food available for them. As for the third and the fourth indicators, the utilization of food, are we getting a safe, healthy food in our hands? Of course, indicators shows no, because a percentage of citizens who suffer from malnutrition in 2016 to 2018 to 2021 is 46%. So half of the citizens almost suffer from malnutrition. If we counted the countryside, we have a higher percentage in the countryside. In the 2025, 45% of the inhabitants suffer from malnutrition, which is really concerning. As for the food energy that we can benefit from between 2018 to 2021, 1,900 calories per day for each individual, whilst around the world it is more than 2,000 calories. Also, we have the indicator of the quality of food safety, and it is half of the international indicator. In the things related to the three dimensions of development, economic, social, and environmental dimension, the indicators of the economic dimension, the individual share of the agricultural production, it was decreased from 170 to $132. And the agricultural field sector is the most one. So here we notice this gap between the individual share between this agricultural production and the total GDP. So in regard to the social dimension, we have the health, unemployment, and education. So the percentage might reach 90%. If we included the countryside. And here let us talk about education. Although my colleagues talked a lot about education and discussed it thoroughly, but I'd like to focus on one thing that I can remember, that the pedagogy university in Taz University accepts 19,000 students a year. Last year, those who applied for that university was only 300 students. So why? Maybe because I'm feeling that their future is ambiguous now. If we went back to the 60s, we will import teachers as we did before from outside of the country. As for the human development, Yemen had a simple increase in that index with a less than a half from 450 to 455, but we took a lower rank internationally. As for the environmental dimension, Dr. Hisham and my colleagues covered it thoroughly. So let us move to the root reason behind the problem that we are suffering from, which is conflict. As long as the conflict is continuous, we will still have a problem. We have a destruction of the infrastructure, and that will affect the utilization and the production and the availability and the displacement of people, and the lack of livelihood means all of that affected resilience and led to the current crisis. The development goals, the food crisis participated in the lack of achievement of the development goals. Let's go now to the results directly. Dr. Bassam Singh is telling me that my time is up. So let me read them very quickly for you. that the food crisis in Yemen is both a cause and a consequence of the collapse of the development. We are going in a vicious circle. Policies alone are insufficient, and this cycle should be disseminated, and current policies focus on addressing symptoms, not causes. As for the recommendations, we need to move from relief to development. We need to enhance governance. As for INGOs, NGOs, and donors, they should be more resilient by merging or integrating relief with development and enhancing the environmental adaptation and enhancing governance. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Doctor. As for me, about the that were put between 2015 till 2030. The next target was zero hunger, but unfortunately now we know that there are collective famines. We are an agriculture country with a variety of climate which gives us the opportunity to produce all types and kinds of agriculture production, but the problem is that they related to lack of basic means, and we need now revolution towards a kind of home hydroponics and its role, water planting, and its role in achieving food security with Dr. Ahmed Fadl. Ahmed Fadl is assistant professor in the Department of Horticulture, Nasser College of Agricultural Sciences, University of Lahj, Yemen. He participated in a number of Arab and international conferences to enhance the concept of sustainable development and sustainable agriculture. Good morning. First, I'd like to thank those who organized this conference, Tawakkol Karman Foundation, and the team who worked very professionally with us. They hesitated to come, but they showed us highest levels of proficiency in replying to our never-ending questions and our fears from moving from Sana'a to Aden. They were hesitant in each step, but with their support, we made it here. Thank you so much. Always people who talk about agriculture face injustice, even in home. I'm the only one who is specialized in agriculture, although we are an agriculture country. Our culture and our fathers and forefathers, they all worked in agriculture, and they no one was producing food from their own agriculture, and no one used their tools. They made themselves as we did, but unfortunately we don't pay enough attention and care for this, neither from political point of view or educational point of view, in order to step forward in this field. So this is a scientific research. It's going to be sort of boring, but I will try to add some of the ideologies because you hear about some of them. Um, uh, so the idea of this research, and we heard a lot about it, even this foundation, the local foundation, and other institutions worked on projects, but unfortunately when we come to reality, we don't touch any results from all these projects. And I said, why do we always target rural areas? Why don't we target cities in projects of these projects about agriculture, water agriculture in homes, and we try to copy or to have inspiration from another study in Holland and experience in Holland. And there was a project about improving the life ways and methods, and we tried to implement some other models, some other tools, because the person who works, the Yemeni person who works in agricultural farmers, Yemeni farmers, have experience, but they cannot calculate. They're not good in calculations. And this is a good thing for us, because if they calculated, they would stop working in agriculture. So please bear a little bit with us and expand our time a little bit. We suffer in Yemen. Whatever we explain to you in Lahj University, we suffer a lot, and especially our students. No electricity, even the simplest basics of life for students. You explain for them, and they suffer from hot weather, no fan, no AC, nothing. I used to teach in science college, moving from Lahj to science college. When I entered Lahj, I would fall asleep because of the nice temperature there and AC used, and everything was okay. So of course, now in Yemen, as my friend here talked about the gap, a food gap. Um, that's why I'm going to move some of their slides. But the problem is the malnutrition and the high percentage of poverty. And it's eye-catching that we are one of the rare people maybe on earth that we consume vegetables all the year, all the time of the year, all the seasons of the year. We have all kinds of vegetables, but our problem is that we import the inputs of production, but what we have is sufficient for us. And we import a lot of things, and this is something that who are affected largely our stability in agriculture. If the pollutions didn't stop what's going on, but now because some of them open the way to import some agricultural products without health control, and since a few years till today they imported some unhealthy products. And I'm going to go fast over our slides until we talk about the problems of agriculture production, lack of enough water, spread of illnesses, and just to experience that antiseptics are used in a massive way. For cucumber, for example, 12 antiseptics are used altogether. Just imagine this amount of chemical medicines used. And these are harmful for human beings, and also the climate change, also the limited the depletion of natural resources, and the unsustainable use of soil and water due to decline in fertility and a decline in productivity. Also effects of climate change. Also we have the spread of plant pests and diseases, as I mentioned. Um, in a way that we don't evaluate them. I studied in Egypt. Egypt is also an agricultural country, but you find some products and some vegetables are kept as frozen. But we in Yemen, we have all of them fresh in all seasons of the year. So what about urban agriculture? It's to make use of any space available, and after the green revolution, the world went towards not the amount of production, but to have sustainable production. Before this green revolution was consumption of resources, but now we have urban agriculture which we can use wisely. Our project targeted eight people or eight households. We planted small units on the roofs of their homes, like $100 a month was poverty, considered poverty, but now we will say that these are from the middle class. Less than with $100 they cannot live, but we targeted these people in order to find what is the profits of these water plants, and the results were very good, but I'm not going to delve into details for time. These are some of the examples we made inside homes, so you can eat cucumber, vegetables, clean, healthy, without sicknesses or illnesses, and this is one of the homes we targeted. And what are the results? We also have a problem with the leafy products or vegetables. Most of them, or around 80% of them, are watered by wastewater, and this is a report according to the WHO. And I played a part in this research in the south. We took some samples from these products, these vegetables. Uh, the vegetable came from the north areas, and we found that more than 80% of them being watered by wastewater. Of course, we use all of these things in making salads and other things. Also, what is the we know the social in the social media the social effects of this kind of plants, and this is the units through which we targeted the beneficiaries, because it's not easy when we introduce a new kind of uh, mm, any kind of implants or agriculture. We targeted a number of students in order to make them the basement to raise awareness about this thing. So we trained 7 students, and we gave them some units to try them, to actually use them, and it was a small home protected against insects and other things, and all kinds of products. And here, what's beautiful about this casual, this is a scientific study and research, because without research there is no development. If you conduct a research, a scientific research, because for any project you need a sound ground to build this project on. If you study the feasibility of this project and have a research done for it, you can avoid some of the mistakes in your next stages. So we studied the actual production of the plants as we expected it before, and we also asked through our surveys about the consumption of these families, how much consumption they have weekly, for example, in order to meet the needs of the consumers. Instead of paying out of the pocket for vegetables, he can eat from the vegetables, or she can eat from the vegetables they plant in their home. And this is automized. It's very easy to plant seeds, and you can put it on the roof or on balconies. You can see in the some of the pictures strawberry. Somebody planted strawberry in the balcony. So needs how much we covered, and then what's what is the extra surplus we had, because we took the just average of what people asked for. At the end, I have this revenue. Revenue here in number 155 US dollar during 5 months. It's not a very little amount and not a very high amount, but at least they got something healthy with no diseases, with no antiseptics. The second stage, we targeted 20 persons. We asked them to sell this production, and they gained 372. Somebody will ask me, is this 372 will cover the costs of production? I will say yes, it will cover. Just I will show you some of the pictures of our successful um, experiments. And this is what's called Georgia. These are green also products of vegetables that are used daily, like watercress and other products. So if you are enthusiastic about working for our country, there is always something to do. Just don't be indulged in projects that won't be fruitful. And this is one of our colleagues. He had a problem. Okay, okay, no problem. I'm going to pass on this. House plants, agriculture works to uh, improve the psychological situation of people, and makes people use their time wisely. And one of our colleagues used to have problems with his family members, and when we gave him these units, he started taking care of them. Uh, so now he's a peaceful person, and very good relationship with all around him. Uh, so,
So this is not. I'm sorry, I took a lot of your time. Yes, we have this problem of pesticides. We have 350 type of pesticide that is banned internationally, and that was at the previous minister in 2018. The Turkish minister at Yemen visited Hadramaut, and the Cumhuriyet newspaper made an interview with him. He said, how do you have such a quality of honey, qualitative honey, and then you put it in a 5 liters bottles without having an appropriate factory for selling it. Now we will end with talking about honey with Dr. Abdullah Yasser, an academic and a researcher in agricultural science, especially bee raising and honey production. Uh, I have a lot of researches published in national, international journals, and he worked with many INGOs. Thank you so much. I hope for you a day full of honey. The slides, please. The honey is Yemeni. What about let me tell you about the great honey in Yemen. Yemenis used to go to the mountains looking for sticks of bees and take honey from it. That before 2000 year, that was 2000 years before Islam. Um, and he also mentioned that Yemenis to work with bees was one of the main professions in Yemen. Also, the Yemeni honey has a very great reputation. And everyone knows that. I'd like to say that I'm talking about Yemeni honey, not about honey itself, but about honey as a model of an high quality agricultural goods that we have in Yemen, like many other agricultural goods. For example, the pomegranate. So we are developed in the agricultural sector in Yemen, although we don't have a lot of income coming from agriculture, but it participates up to 15% of the GDP, and it employs up to 65% of people, especially those in the countryside. So people will, of course, people will ask this question. As my colleague Dr. Hisham is saying, we have many diverse topography, and that reflected to different crops. And we have different plants in Yemen. We have a lot of variety in relation to the plants, and this is a main reason why we have a very unique honey and excellent honey in Yemen, because the bees have many resources where they get to keep for the beekeeping. So in Yemen we have organic honey. Organic means that it should be certificated. It's not certificated, but it is bio. And also and the beekeeping does not happen in farms, but it happens naturally in mountains. So we do not use farms because we have this concern about the pesticides. So our bees is away from any poisons. So our honey and bees are healthy, are natural, and they do not suffer from any dangerous diseases that the honey, that the bees are exposed to in other countries like America. So I'm not using scientific terminologies here because I want everyone to understand what I'm saying. So the goal of this map is to show you where are we exactly in relation to bees. Hadramaut takes the first place in relation to the number of bees. Shabwa Bian after that. So these three governorates represent 60% of the counts of bees and of production of Yemeni honey. Hudayda come in the fourth rank, and then we have Ib, Lahad, Taz, and the other governorates. So here I will take good care of this table because it will serve us in the upcoming paragraph. Here you can notice that Canada, for example, they have
أصل الواحدة منها 53 كيلو. في الواقع في عندنا في العالم 100
for one
مليون واحدة موالد
species
منها
50 kilos. Around the world we have 90,000
يعني مليار و800
species, and they produce
ألف.
billion and 800
عندنا
tons,
متوسط
and
الإنتاج العالمي
the
15 كيلو
average
حبة لو
uh,
للكل نسميه ماشي الكل. الصين كذلك طبعا
so the
عندنا
international
ثاني أكبر دولة في
production
العالم فيها
average
10 مليون كيلو مربع.
for
روسيا
each colony
مساحتها 17
is 100
مليون كيلومتر مربع.
4 million colonies. In China,
عندها من عدد الطوائر
they have
أقل من مليون،
less than 1 million
يعني
colonies.
800
They
ألف
have around
واحدة
800
عنب.
colony of
عادة
bees.
هي العود
So
كحول.
the colony
متوسط الإنتاج هنا
and the
الواحدة الواحدة
production average for each colony
53
is 53
قدوة الدول
kilograms,
المشتركة
and
حوالين اليمن.
you can look at all of the
عندنا
countries. As for Yemen,
مليون
we have 1 million and
و300
300 colony of bees.
هذا البعض قد
Some
يظن
people might think that this is a very good thing
لكن في
because I have
الواقع
a big number of
انعكاس
colonies,
سلبي
but it is a
وليس
negative
انعكاس
aspect
ايجابي. ليش؟
more than a
تعالوا نشوف
positive
الاشارات.
one, because if we looked at this indicator,
2 كيلو
you will find that
جرام
each colony
صغيرة
produces
بالراحة
only
مقارنة
2
الواحدة
kilograms
مقارنة
in comparison to
53 كيلو
53
الواحدة
kilograms
الواحدة في
of
الحدود.
colony in Canada.
53 كيلو الواحدة
53
في الصين.
also a kilo
43 كيلو
for
الواحدة
colony
في
in
الهند.
China, 41 per
23
colony in Turkey,
كيلو وهكذا.
23
لكن هناك
kilograms per colony
لديهم
in USA.
تغيير
So we have
في
a very
مستوى
low
الإنتاج
average
مؤخر
of production
الإنتاج حتى الآن السنة
per
الجاية
colony.
أعتقد يعني
And
قررنا
this will be
إضافة.
our basis for this vision in this sector.
أنا أعطيت أيضا
I also mentioned that
بعض الأرقام
some numbers that
عدد المحاليل.
is
إلى
related
سنة
to the number of
1911
beekeepers.
2011 كان عدد المحاليل
In
المنتشرة في روسيا
2011, beekeepers in Saudi Arabia
مساحتها
uh,
2 مليون كيلومتر
that they
مربع.
have 2 million kilometers.
لكن
They had four key keepers till
عندهم
2004, and they
395
used to produce
395
3,000
طن من العسل اليوم
305
عددا عاليا متوسط
300,000 almost
200,000
ton of bees, but today they have 20,000 beekeeper, and they produces 20,000 ton
إن كان
of
عندنا نحن في اليمن
honey. In Yemen, we have
2600 طن
2,600
عدد
tons,
المحاليل في
and we
اليمن
have a number of beekeepers
100,000
of
كما
100,000
نحن في العاصمة السعودية الجدة
beekeeper, whilst only
عندنا
20 beekeeper in Saudi Arabia.
الآن
So we have
تشغل
100,000
هذه المستوردات
beekeepers, and it is
أصبحنا
beekeeping is
نقول
their
أن هذه
income,
المهنة تمارس في
and it
الأرياف
is a profession
بينما
usually
يحتاج جميع
exist in the
الرجل
countrysides.
هذه المهنة تعد كالرجال. حطيت هنا رقم
I
خاص
also
بما
put a
يستورد
special
في
number about what is imported
المملكة العربية
in Saudi
السعودية توجد
Arabia.
5,000
They use, they
و27
produce
ألف طن
5,000 tons, and they import 20,000 tons. We export uh, 900 tons and import the same amount, almost. So what we need,
الصحة المحلية قوة الواقع 200 يعني 2600
which means that we
كيلو جرام
in the local
طبقا
market,
للمؤسسة
we consume around
على
2,600
هذا
tons,
السبيل exercise
and these
بناء
information
عليه
will be
بس
important in the
الموظفين
next
اللي في حالة المملكة
slide.
بيمكن
I will
انها
say again, the beekeepers in Saudi Arabia are 20,000, while in
السوق
Yemen is
تقريبا
100,000.
26000
Saudi
كيلو
Arabia import
كم نصدق 60%
20,000
بقيت
kilos,
60%
and
كيف
we
نصدر
export
لهذا الجبل
900
والجبل اللي وراه
kilos, 900,000 kilos,
الجبل
tons,
الاقتصادي
sorry.
والاجتماعي لمملكة العالم كناشر
As for
عندنا
the
احنا حالة
social
تقريبا ما
roles
يقارب
of
50000
beekeepers,
يشتغلوا
we
في
have
المهن
50,000 working in
عمال
uh,
عمال ناس قائمين
so
وعليهم
we
إشراف
have
يشتغلوا في مستأجرات
50,000 workers working in
dealers
assistance of like dealers, like
البائعين
sellers,
الزبدة والتجار
wholesalers,
والعتبة
retailers, etc.
بما عدا المليون و500
So in total, we
في
have
هذا المكان أنا أملك
1,005,000
دراسة منشورة سنة
individuals.
2024
And these numbers I
على
got from a
موقع
study
مركز
published
محمد القاسم
2024 on the
في
Sana'a Center for Studies.
فرع المسلمي فرع
In the Far
المسلمي
Islami,
ووزارة
and
البيئة
you can
والبيئة
find that
الميزاني في
study
العراق وهي واقع
in
هذه
a
السنة
detailed way, and it
ظروف
reflects
هذه المهنة
the
أو
conditions of
حال
this
هذه المهنة احتجاجات
profession under the war.
هذه المهنة منتشرة في
This
كل المناطق
profession
اليمنية
is widespread
هذه
all
المهنة
around the
تجمع
Yemen, and
اليمنيين
it's one of the
ويأتون
professions
باستمرار
that gathers all Yemenis from
مثلا
Shabwa,
مؤسسة
for
الإنتاج
example.
يذهبون إلى
They move to
إلى
Eb
العز
and then to Taz
يرعوا
and then
في وقت
to
الصيف يذهب
make the beekeeping in the summer.
العديد من
And
المحارين
many
والمناطق
beekeepers
الشمالية
travel
إلى
from the
ريحان
northern Esra,
جردان
Duan,
ريحان
Jordan, Rayhan,
الحضرموت
Hadramaut,
وجبوة
and Jabwa
من
to also
العراق وهذه كثيرة
do the
ولكن
beekeeping. So
المهنة
this is
تتطور
one of the
وتزيد
professions
كلما
that
كان صعب
connect Yemenis all around Yemen,
نذكر
and
بكل
it
بساطة
is a source for of a hard
دكتور
currency. Um,
يحيى
Dr.
الصباح
Yahya Sabah,
عندما
when
نتحدث نتكلم عن
he
الدروب
talked
في
about the dropping in the
في قيمة الصادرات
currency
اليمنية
in the Yemeni exports, he said that it dropped up to 512 million dollars,
كان يوجد بسياسة
and
الحرب العسل
the
في
honey
العالم
alone
كان
as a
يتفوق بالصين
good
بربع هذا الصناعة
with a
بس
high
هذه الحرب
quality
كان ممكن تساهم
can
يعني معناته في
participate
الواقع
in
يعني
this.
أنا كنت أتكلم عن
So
الدكتور
in
يحيى عن الصراحة كان في وضع أفضل
in
بالنسبة
the
لنا
under natural
عائلتنا كانت
conditions,
رفاهية
our
كان ممكن
returns
مثلا
from
اللي ما
exporting
يزرع في اليوم
honey alone can
في اقتصاد البلد ممكن
be,
ينفقه
let me
في
see
الحياة
here, I will
إذا
show you the
خلونا
amount later
نحافظ على
on.
الدراسة
So let
أين
us now
المشكلة؟
put our hand on the
أين
problem.
المشكلة؟
Where is the
المشكلة
problem?
الرئيسية
Our main
في هذا
problem
القطاع
in this
الحيوي والمعادن
very vital sector
يكمن
is
في انخفاض
in
الإنتاج
the
وحدة الإنتاج
having
محليا خلينا
uh,
تنتج بلده 50 كيلو
a
معناته
small
تطلع لك عملية
average
عملية
of unit production.
2
We
كيلو
are only
ليش؟
producing
من
2
من
kilos, while other
المنتجات
countries
أحتاج
producing
إن
50
أشتغل
kilos
عليها
from each
بحيث
unit. And
أغير
so we
هذا
need
التغير
to change
بالاستراتيجي.
the average of
عندنا
production.
تحديات
Also,
خاصة
we have challenges
بمستوى
related
إنتاج
to
وحدة الإنتاج تحديات خاصة
the
بالجودة حتى
quality,
الأسعار
and we
التقليدية
have challenges related to
هذه
the
مفيش
marketing,
فايدة
and these are the things
موجودة
that
في
is
السلطة
shared.
المملكة العربية للأسف
This is
وأنا أريد أن
these
أتحدث عن
problems
الأسف
are
في حالة
shared with
للأسف حالة
between all
هناك
the
تسجيلات
goods that
أخرى
Yemen
ممكن أن تستفيد فيها اليمن
produce
وتطور
in this field.
إذا عندنا ضعف في البنية التحتية
And
ولكن
we have, of
هناك
course, the weakness in the
الهدف
infrastructure,
الرئيسي هو
and
التطور
we.
بقدر ما هو ممكن نأتي فيه طيب كيف نتغلب على هذه
So how
التحديات؟
can we defeat
تعالوا
these challenges?
نتحدث عن الهدف الأول
Let us
الذي
talk
هو
about
أن
our
نزيد
first
الإنتاج ووحدة الإنتاج
goal,
وحدات
which is
الضغط
to
المتقاربة الواحدة
increase a unit,
30
a
كيلو
production of
معناتها
each
30 كيلو
unit.
60 كيلو
So I need each unit to produce 10 kilos instead of 2 kilos. So what are the reasons that is hindering us from this? So we need to tackle these reasons. So we need to increase the quality of the product, to increase its ability to compete internally and externally in the market in and outside of Yemen, and to increase the productivity of or the amount of production of each bee colony or unit. So how can we increase the production? First, we need to increase the
خاصة الآن أحد مخلفات الفترة إنه الناس بدأت
so first we need to
الإنتاجات
increase
تقطعها
the areas of
وتطهير
bee pastures. We
طعامها فبالتالي هذه واحدة من
so
الإشكاليات
this is
أحتاج عمل بناء قدرات
as also we need to make
للمحالي
capacity building
يشتغلوا
for
بحيث
beekeepers.
أدربهم
They need to be
تقنية
trained on new
أرفع من
techniques in
كفاءة
order to
واردات
raise their
الإنتاج.
quality
أحتاج أدخل في
and the quality
مجالات
of the
الجديدة
production
الأخرى.
unit.
الناحية العلمية
And
فقط وحتى الثقافة
I
المجتمعية.
need
يعني نحن في
also
ثقافات كثيرة
to
تشمل
collect the
المزرعة،
other
الهيدروبونكس
production
يتم
of
الزراعة الملكي،
bees,
يمكن
because bees
عباءة
does not
النحل.
only produce
هذه
honey,
كلها ممكن تشتغل
they
موارد
produce
جديدة
many
لأن
other
يتوفر فيها
materials that
الطعام.
we should
تستطيع أن
collect.
تنتجها دون أي كلفة إضافية
And these
في ذلك
can be
الإنتاج
collected
الذي
and
يحصل
sold
على
without
الزبالة.
any additional costs.
سوري. عندي كمان
Also,
نجي كمان في بعد جهد يعني رسميا بدأنا في سنة 2004
in
عشان
2004,
نصدر
we
تشريع
started to issue
للمحالة
legislation for
كيف
beekeepers,
يمكن تحدث
and it took
الطعام
us a lot of effort, and it was produced in
التشريع. لكن على
2017.
الأقل في جزء من البلد
And
بدأنا
it applied was
هكذا.
applied in part of our country,
طبعا
and and
وزير
we
الزراعة
had a
هذا
policy from the Minister
طبقنا
of
حلينا
Agriculture
معظم المشكلات
to
سواء في
manage or regulate the
المناطق
work of
الصواب انتصرنا بدون
beekeepers. And if we succeeded in mainstreaming this legislation, we will have good results coming from
هذه
that.
وزارة النقل الإضافي للمحل يمكن إنتاجها كما قلت بدون أي نفقات إضافية. حوفر متطلبات البلد.
So as I told you, we need an additional source of income for beekeepers, and they can produce many materials without any increase in production capacity or in production cost. Also, we need to meet the country's requirement for this production instead of importing them, and also export the farmer and teach them how to save money. And also we need to protect national bees breed from common diseases. Um,
لو صدرنا جزء من هذا
so if we
الناتج عن
exported
تقنية
part of
حديثة
our
كما نصدر
bees,
بين كل الجهات وتصدر إلى المشهد. بالعكس هذا حيكون عمل
that
رائع
would
جدا
be an
لزيادة
great
الانتاج.
work
يوجد
to
عناصر
increase the
الحقيقية بس
productive
إضافة
productivity.
بحيث تقدمها مع أطفال أو تقدمها لأكبر أطفال. تخيل الصحة هذا كيف يكون مردود لو عندي فقط أقل من نص على
So
الأقل
if
كده يكون حيجيب عشان أكثر حيجيب عسل بجودة أكبر لأنه نحن المعدات الكبيرة هذه تتنافس على المعادن الموجودة ولا يمكن تكفيها العيش لكن لما تكون أقل حتكفيها العيش
So
حتخليها
we need
عسل
to have
جودة
bees
رائعة
in numbers
ومناسب
adequate to the
وبالتالي
numbers
فرص
of
الشغل كثيرة. إذا
pastures.
الإنتاج
So if I
زادت
export
توجد
the bees, that would come better for me because I will have more
ناس
honey produced when the
لكن
bees have
نحن
enough
في
pastures for
لما
them.
لو بدنا
Uh,
نبدأ نشتغل بالنحل
so when we are
الزبالة
saying
والرش
that we
الحاد حيكون
want
ضرر شديد لا أبدا. هذا
to
الزبالة ممكن تنتشر
export
إلى
our
مراحل كثيرة.
bee
مشكلة إضافية موجودة
breed,
بدون
this is a good thing,
رائعة
and
حصل
uh,
موجود في كل هذا
because
الإطار
these
الجغرافي بحيث
bees are
يمكنك
existing
صرف
in all
الدماء
of this
على
geographical area, and so
الزبالة
it does not have any danger to
مرتبطة
export part of our bees.
التعقل الخاص زيادة المناخ. أريد أن
My time is up, but I wanted to say that we have a lot of numbers and a lot of details in relation to everything we need to know about the implementation of this vision. Thank you so much, Doctor. Your time is up. Thanks.
دكتور اسال
Um,
في تاسيسيه توجه كمان ممكن يا دكتور
So,
ان
Doctor,
تدرس
can you do a study in partnership with Dr. Hisham on the implementation of environmental deterioration on honey production?
تقريبا
Uh,
10,000 نسيج هذه كانت مواد
they used to produce hundreds of thousands of different species of bees, and that would have been a very excellent topic also.
الان ممكن ان ندخل في النقاش.
Now, let us start with the discussion. I will start here.
بقيت الصوت طيب نبدا مع المهندس حمود.
I will start with Hamoud, the engineer. As for electricity in the south, if they are using electricity and diesel, and if they saved the expenses of using this energy, what will happen? From the beginning of the year in Mubarak government, they announced they are spending $3 billion on the supply electricity to the southern areas. As an expert in electricity, to provide diesel and raw oil is 23 cents or almost, and so each hour they generate 63 megabyte. So, which is $3 million, $90 in a month, and a million and 190 million dollars in a year. So the solar panels and so everything we imported of solar panels of 10 over the last 10 years equals only to what the old government sorry, the government used to spend on generating electricity for 1 year. So if they make use of that amount adequately to find a solar power facility or plant, they would have achieved more stability for the grid and produced 200 to 300,000 megawatt per hour, and would provide electricity for several cities for a few hours a day. Maybe that would allow us to supply electricity to the main areas and would lessen the burden on the main station in Aden. And now we are entering into the second phase, and we are producing 120 megas, and the prices is increasing, but because we don't have any system to store the power, so these stations are useless. So we need batteries to store the power and to. So my last question to you, and I'd like to ask Mr. Qadir to focus with me with this point. Now in the investment, we don't have any country that is investment, because there is a difference between the cost of production electricity and then the selling prices, because there is no profit average. It's only 2 cents. So maybe if I suggested if we got some German companies and they would make investment, and then they will get benefit through making two projects, one for us and one for them, and then that way we will benefit and they will benefit. So do you think this is a beneficial way? We always should be looking for a source of power like wind power, solar power. We need to take into consideration the cost of production of 1 kilowatt per hour, and we are using the green hydrogen. And as the doctor mentioned when she was talking about the critical minerals, that we have something that is called the supply chain of the cost of production, and we should take into consideration all of the costs. In Gulf countries, they use generating power through green hydrogen by using the power they have as an extra power from solar power. But this is not feasible.